right, it's winter here in Ontario, Canada. We're gonna head into the garage and see what the old man's been up to and tell you all about it. All right, we're here in the garage and we're gonna go through a bunch of the updates and changes that have been made to the car this winter. And we've got the head mechanic here, the crew chief. As we go through, just tell us a little bit more because I don't know all of the details. So we're gonna start at the nose of the car and we'll work our way to the back. Lots of stuff to show you. So here at the front of the car, my dad fabricated this tube into the existing chassis. And the reason for that being that last year when we were at one of our events, we were running 2 classes and wanted to tow the car up to the staging lanes. And in order to do that, we would have to take the entire nose cone on, which I'm going to show you, and hook a tow strap onto the front bar here. Now, the way that it's been modified, we'll be able to have the nose cone on and slip a piece in and hook it up, and we'll show you what that looks like. So we got the nose cone installed. Normally all the other body panels would be on there, but essentially what happens is he can slide that tow hook into the receiver, hook the tow strap on, and away we go. Much quicker than removing all of the Zeus fasteners. There's 2 top and then 2 on each side, and trying to carry that nose cone with us. Moving up to the, what area of the car would we call this? Control panel area?
Yeah, I'd call it the control panel area.
Yeah, and so in here we've got the brains of the car essentially, runs all of the systems, and then some switches to set our burnout RPM. That is the trans brake RPM, so what I leave the starting line at, and a newly added compressor system and storage tank for another element that we're going to talk about separately. You want to tell us what you did in this area, Dad, over the winter?
Yeah, these were sort of stacked up one on top of the other, and one was tie wrapped to the top of the MSD box.
Yep.
So I made a nice piece here to mount everything where I can see it, label everything, and put new relays in the system for everything.
You did fabricate all of this, the plate,
Yep.
and all of the mounting and the,
Yep.
Plumbed it and everything.
Yep.
And so you might say, well, how do you see those gauges and dials when the body panels are on it? And this body panel is specifically designed with a little door, so we can open that. All right, so we're gonna move up to the dash area of the car, essentially cockpit area, and my dad's gonna explain a little bit about what he did here to clean this area up and improve it so far.
Well, I didn't start with labeling everything, but that's the way I do things. We have all the terminal strips. Controls come in, controls go out, and one of my weak points has always been wiring, and I didn't really understand how a relay worked, so I'm really proud of myself. It had a different system in here, so I put new style relays in, labeled everything, and I understand how these work now. So if we have to troubleshoot the car, I know better how to do that and not bumble my way through it. And then over the gauges and everything, put a new glass, the tack gauge was broken, or the glass had a big crack across it. Uncrimp that ring and put a new glass in it, that looks excellent. And then I redesigned the attachment mount for the cover here. It had little wee Zeus fasteners. This one was broken and the other ones didn't work too good, so I did a sort of a hidden nut type of thing on the back of it, and it has nice screws that hold it together. And the throttle, this cable had quite a significant angle on it down in here, so I straightened that out, made it linear, more linear, so that we have no binding or anything like that. I want everything nice and free.
All right, moving on from the dash area, we're just going to look in the cockpit here at the seat belt setup, and I'm going to let my dad explain a little bit about what changes were made there.
Well, these are one of the things that are made right here in London, Ontario. Kind of proud of that, Leaf Racewear. They actually did my first Nitro Funny car suit and did it for nothing for me. These have to be updated every 2 years. And we've gone from 2-inch to 3-inch so that they don't cut in so much to the driver's shoulders. And these actually wrap around a Hans device that sits on our shoulders and is linked to the helmet to keep the head from flopping around. We use a system that the belts all plug into. If I can reach in here and show you, it's a very nice system. That's plugged in like that, and a little turn.
They call that a cam lock system.
Cam
right?
lock, yeah.
Yeah.
Versus a link, whatever the other one is.
Yeah.
And we went to, this is called a 6-point system. The crotch belt, lack of a better word, has 2 mounting points on the chassis versus 1. So this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-point, which allows us to run a quicker category. It tightens Jory into the seat a little bit more.
Keeps you centered and
Keeps you centered.
set in there better.
Yep.
And
Yep.
this car is certified to go 6 seconds. We haven't
Yep.
even touched that yet, but that's the point of those belts, is if we did want to increase the performance, we now have the proper belts in there to do that. All right, so we're moving on from the cockpit back to the front of the engine here, where my dad's done a lot of work. I did show this in an earlier video when it was off the car, and he cleaned it up, painted it, fixed and welded all the holes that were in it from previous iterations of the car. And I mean, that's a pretty cool graphic, the Wally guy there for the chassis builder. So what do you got going on here, Dad?
Well, just cleaned it up a lot. Down here, you can see this tray under the engine here.
Yeah.
This is in lieu of a ballistic bag or a diaper, they call it, to retain parts and oil. I didn't like the bag. It was very cumbersome wrapping it around the engine and stuff, so I built that tray. This bypass line from the tank to the pump was about 3 feet long and looped around in here. So I did this, cleaned this up, and just sort of, made stuff nice. We put a new...
So that's the fuel tank, that clear plastic,
Yep,
sort of
yep,
grayish
yep.
plastic, and this is the fuel pump down here.
Yeah, with a filter, 100 micron filter
Yeah.
attached to it in the pump. I made a new mount for that and painted it. The car has had many variables or variations
Yeah.
over the years.
Yeah, it's been set up different.
It has been, and it's a really good car, but it just wasn't looked after in the last few years real good, so we've just made it really nice. New aerospace vacuum pump we pull about, so it sucks on this end, goes over to this side of the engine, and it pulls about 10 inches of vacuum. This keeps the crankcase from building up pressure and just allows the pistons to move a little easier.
Anything else new on this part of the engine other than like getting into the carburetor stuff?
No, the fuel system remounted this in a different spot and looped this so that we have access so we can put our bar in here.
Right,
To pull
turn the
engine
motor over, yeah.
In fact, I come out every week and turn the motor over in a different spot just so the valve springs don't.
Because there's a lot of pressure on the valve
There's a lot of
springs.
pressure on them. Some guys relieve that pressure by releasing the rocker arms, but I don't think it's necessary on this engine to
No.
do that.
All right, so moving on from the front of the engine to the top of the engine. Not really part of the engine, I suppose, but one of the most important parts that makes it all work. A brand new APD carburetor, which is the cream of the crop as far as the type of carburetor that we need for what we do, which is super comp racing and bracket racing. So tell us about why this carburetor is so special. Why did we have to go and get this particular carb versus like a Holley, basic Holley carb?
Yes, well, as you know, this is the third Holley we've had on the car. And what makes these guys so special, they're hand built in Toledo, Ohio, is when the car is on the throttle stop to slow it down. This car will go mid 7 seconds at 175 miles an hour. But when the throttle stop, we use this throttle stop to slow the car down to run an 890 class. That's our index, 890. When the car was on the stop, it was very inconsistent for that 2 seconds that it was on the stop. And Jory does really good numbers, incremental numbers as we go down the track. The top end, when it come wide open, was within 1,000th every run. This is the best carb in the business to, I guess, mid-range, to sort out the mid-range. It's 1,175 CFM. We bought a new delivery system to get it feeds fuel in the front and the rear. Clear sight plugs so I can see the level of the fuel and the fuel bowls. And we redesigned the fuel delivery system. It was kind of messed up and way too many 90s.
Not enough smooth flow.
Oh, not nearly enough. So we run about 6 or 7 pounds of fuel pressure, which is enough to feed it. And that was the reason for it. I'm really glad we got it.
All right, so we're moving backwards from the engine to the transmission. And you can see there's a fresh SFI tag on the bell housing there. And then the case has one as well on the other side. And I'm gonna let my dad talk a little bit about, so this has been out of the car, sent away, and back reinstalled into the car. And just tell us about what that process looks like as far as what the recertification process is and what they did with it when it was gone.
Well, we're fortunate again because we got one of the best transmission guys in North America here in London, Ontario, Hutch Transmissions. So in the type of racing we do, there's 4 things that are super important to consistency: the carburetor, the transmission, the torque converter, and the tires.
And the torque converter is in here.
Is inside there.
Attached to the transmission, but also to the engine with a spline.
Yep,
So,
driven by the engine.
with fluid.
Yes,
Yes.
it sends fluid into the transmission. So we knew we had a good torque converter. We bought the best carburetor in the business. We put new tires on it when we went to Indianapolis last year. So I took the tranny out, took it to Hutch. The case and the bell housing area has to be recertified for safety purposes every 3 years. So John recertified it, went through it, put a new rear shaft in the transmission, put a new input shaft in it, actually cut the torque converter apart, took a look at the stator and the health of the inside of the converter, put it back together. And quite honestly, this was probably the biggest hit we took as far as updating the car goes. But this will last probably as long as I'm around.
Should be, as they say, bulletproof.
Oh,
Right?
John builds good stuff, and he actually does R&D for Sonics, and so he has access to the best of the best.
All right, so in addition, as how the transmission mounts to the car, so you can see it's bolted to the engine plate here. That's bolted to the chassis, but at the back, it's a bit of a different setup. And Hutch, the tranny guy, said that we needed to re-engineer that, so my dad went ahead and did that. Just tell us a little bit about what you did there.
Well, they're blowback devices, Jory, to keep the transmission in place. We leave the line at 5,000 RPM. The car's pretty violent, and because of the length of it, it twists and moves a bit. So he wants that transmission kept firmly in place. So those blowback bars, I fabricated them. We already had the brackets in the chassis. I had to make new ones for the back of the transmission and the bars. And hopefully that keeps everything aligned and we don't hurt splines on the drive shaft and stuff like that.
That's the name of the game when you're spinning ridiculous amounts of RPM with a bunch of horsepower.
Yep.
Right? So you don't want things binding or flexing a whole bunch.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so in the previous videos, you probably are going to notice these pool noodles on the spill plates of the new wing. And the reason those are there, if you look at my dad's head, move your head into closer to the wing there. Yeah. Right at the same height as the spill plate. So when you're walking around the car, a lot of times you're walking with your head down, looking at things, you know, everything is down there that we're looking at. So you forget that that's there, and there's a pretty sharp leading edge on that thing. So you can imagine that'll crack your melon open if you run into that. And I remember specifically working for Peyton's on their top fuel team in 2004, and walking around the car when it was on the Projects, and the wing being high enough, because it's much higher than on this car, and not worrying about hitting your head. And then when the car came down on the ground, you would walk around looking at the car and smash your head. The newbies did anyways, and I was a newbie at that time. So that's why those are there, is to protect the melon from getting split.
And mine's been split.
It's been split enough.
Over the
Yeah,
years.
yeah, it's been split open enough.
Yes, it
So,
is. Jory.
Yeah. So we're making our way to the back of the car here, and I know I've shared a post or two about the wing, but now we get the full description of how that was installed and why, with maybe a little more technical expertise than what I can offer.
Well, I got to tell you that Jory called me from Grand Bend. He went there with his friend and said, "Dad, we got to have a wing on this thing." And you know, again, Jory and I are so on the same path many times. I wanted to put one on, but was reluctant. And when he called, said, "Yeah, let's do it." So we had to do a lot of bracketry underneath. This comes out of a company in Arkansas. So there's a lot of fabricating underneath here that's kind of hidden by the panel up here. But
Yeah, you can see those brackets pretty good on the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the wing itself is kind of generic. It fits the guy's chassis. The guy is a Dragster builder. It fits his chassis.
Yeah, racecraft.
Racecraft, that's right.
Yeah.
But this is an undercover car. Mm-hmm. And so I had to do that and cut the piece out here to do it. Did a pretty nice job, and we painted it ourselves here in the shop. And
Yeah, good DIY paint job.
yeah, no, it's good, and it really adds. Gosh, I'm glad we got it. And you know what? This thing will spin the tires at 150, 160 miles an hour too on an unprepped track, let's say. So this will help put a little downforce on the tires.
Mm-hmm. And then what about? So you used to have we have to run a tail light.
Yep.
For nighttime racing, and it used to be mounted behind the parachute here and came up where the wing is now. So what did you do there?
So we reconfigured that and mounted it just down in here, and it's a nice bright LED guide. So it looks, it's very nice. I like the way it's done. I really enjoy fabricating stuff, as you know, Jory. And had the shocks, the coilovers, had them all apart, made sure the valving worked in those guys. And yeah, spent a lot of time on it.
Looks good. So one of the safety features on the car, it's powers up the car, but if we ever get in trouble out on the track, the safety personnel are able to come back and push this plunger in to depower the entire car. So it kills the power in the entire car. When it's on, it's in that position there, and it's as easy as just coming up and killing it, and then there would be no power throughout the entire car from the battery back. And so there's another plunger, would we call it, I suppose, in the cockpit that I can use. So when I'm strapped in the car, I can kill the system and then pull it out to power up the entire system. You had said something, Dad, about the double cable down here, and I know you installed a new switch there, so tell us about that.
Yeah, the switch was had some play in it that was there. We just want to have a good race year next year, so anything that was questionable got replaced. And this is unique to dragsters, where there are two cables like this on door cars and stuff. There's one cable and one plunger, but this has two, one in the cockpit, as Jory said, and one at the back, and they work in unison. It's a really nice thing. Kills the electricity, kills the fuel pump, so no fuel can be pumped, and there's no electrical issues with the car. So it's a good deal. When I started racing, we didn't have any of this stuff, and we always resist change, but this stuff's good.
All right, so the wing was a big addition, but also something called a starting line enhancer, which is this piece here that attaches to the carb and then back to the throttle cable. And it is designed to help the car sit at an idle, a heightened idle, not much, but a little bit, with the throttle pedal directly to the floor before it's moving down the track. So when we're sitting on the starting line getting ready to stage, I can have my foot completely to the floor, and the car will only be sitting at an idle. So the way the system works is there's a switch here and the compressor system up front here with the storage tank. So go ahead and hit the switch there, Dad.
Okay, we'll put the power on.
Yeah. And so the compressor's running to fill the tank. Okay, so essentially right now the system is pressurized, and this component acts as an extension of the throttle cable. So when the throttle pedal gets pushed, which my dad's going to do now, it wide opens the carburetor, just as a normal throttle cable would. When it's released or at rest, and I trigger the release of the pressurization of the system from inside the cockpit, what happens is you can hear the air exit the system, and then when the throttle pedal is pushed, the starting line enhancer does its job. So you can see the throttle cable moved back there, but the carburetor did not open. So it's still closed. Through an adjustment on the golden rod here where the threads are, we can change the position of the idle, but essentially what happens is put it back down to the floor, Dad. So I have the throttle wide open prior to leaving the starting line, and then at a predetermined amount of time before the green light comes on, the system will pressurize again and the car goes wide open throttle.